there, we are here with another science lesson, and today we are going to be on page 24 in your science books. So open up to page 24, lesson 3, how absorbent is it? That's a new big word.
Yeah, what does that mean?
So absorbent means its ability to soak up liquid.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Like a towel.
Like
or
a
something.
towel, yes.
Oh.
If you were to you spill something on the ground, you're going to want to clean it up with something that's absorbent.
Not a school paper towel.
Not a school paper towel. If you guys have ever been in that situation where a kid spilled their water bottle on the ground, and in my class, we don't have carpet, we have a cement floor. So when kids' water bottles would spill, which would be often, it was a big deal because we'd end up with like an entire paper towel roll and like water still all over the floor.
Yeah. They just don't work.
They weren't very absorbent.
Not the school paper towels.
The school paper towels. My home paper towels, much
They're
better.
better, yeah.
Yeah, Bounty, the quicker
Picker-upper. Got
it. So that's what our task is today. We are going to be pretending like something spilled on the floor, a liquid spilled on the floor. We have 4 items that we have at our disposal that we can use to try to clean up that liquid. And we definitely want to choose the one that's the most absorbent, that's going to suck up the most liquid that's spilled onto the floor. So we're going to show you what the 4 items are that you need to take out of your science kit right now. So we have a craft stick.
And they might need to reuse this.
Yeah, so you might have used this already before and you might be using it in the future, so we'll make sure that we keep these materials back. We have a sponge. We have a paper towel. And we have wax paper. It's this like shiny paper that you use when you're like baking or putting stuff on. All right, so those are your 4 options. We're gonna start by making a prediction as to which we think is the most absorbent, that will suck up the most liquid, and which is the least absorbent. It's definitely not gonna be good for cleaning a spill.
Okay.
A spill.
A spiel.
A spill. A spill. Okay. So let's think about most absorbent. Which one of those items do you think would soak up the most water that spilled?
Well, that's a paper towel from my house.
Yes.
Not a school
Not a
paper
school paper
towel,
towel.
so I'm going to go with the paper towel.
Yes.
Bounty.
And the one that you guys have in your science kits, those are not school paper towels. The school paper towels are those brown ones. We're talking about these white paper towels. Miss Marquardt says that's probably going to absorb the most water. If you guys disagree and you have a different prediction, that's okay. Write it down. And then least absorbent, I don't know, a craft stick. That's like, I would not choose a craft stick to clean up a spill. If I was at home and I spilled a glass of water, I wouldn't be like, Mia, get me a craft stick. I need to clean up this mess. That would be the last thing.
Maybe to stir your coffee.
Yeah.
But all right.
All right. So here's where the investigation comes in, and you might need mom or dad or aunt or uncle or grown up or big brother or sister or cousin or whoever's with you when you're doing this experiment. You're going to need a measuring cup for this, and that is not in your science kit. We have one here. Your measuring cups at home might look a little different. A measuring cup has little lines, and it tells you how much liquid is in the cup if it's up to that line. So ours has a bunch of different lines. We have, it says like half a cup, a whole, like 1 cup, 3/4 of a cup. We also have a section where it says ounces, OZ. There's even a side that says like milliliters or millimeters.
Yep.
We're gonna use the ounces. So hopefully you have a measuring cup,
A liquid measuring cup.
a liquid measuring cup, not one of those ones that just says 1 cup and you use it for flour. We need a liquid measuring cup that has all those little lines on it. And we're gonna be using the side that has ounces on it. If you're working with an adult and whatever you're using doesn't have ounces and only has like milliliters or something, your parents can help you figure that out.
Yeah.
But
do the best you can.
yeah, do the best you can. If you don't have a measuring cup and you're doing this from the Y or something, just watch the video and you can fill it out because we're gonna answer all the questions.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're gonna start by, we filled our measuring cup up with 6 ounces up to the 6 OZ. So our water comes up to the 6 ounce line. And then we're going to dip each of the materials one at a time into the measuring cup for 10 seconds. And then we're going to put the material into like a little bowl just to set it aside so it's not in the way anymore. We're going to go back to our measuring cup and see if that water line changed. Did it go down at all? If that water line is still at 6 ounces after we dipped the material in, that means that material was not absorbent at all. It didn't suck up any of that liquid. But if we go back to that measuring cup after we dipped an item in and the water is less than 6 ounces, that means that the material we dipped into it was absorbent and it sucked up some of that water, and that's good. We want to find out which one is most absorbent.
Okay.
After we figure that out, we're going to record the number on the chart on page 25. So let's say we dip something in and nothing happens. The line stays at 6 ounces. Then we're going to write that. It didn't, like 0 ounces was gone. It was still at 6 ounces. And then anything else we observed, we're going to record what else we noticed on the observations column of the chart. And then between each item that we dip in, we're going to make sure we refill the cup back up to 6 ounces. That way everybody starts at 6 ounces. Each item starts at 6 ounces. So right now, Ms. Marquardt, maybe you can zoom out a little bit.
Yeah, I think that is a good idea.
That way we can see this a little bit better.
Hopefully you can see the chart and...
So you can see this, and you guys won't really be able to see where the number is, but we'll tell you, and you can see what we dip in. And since the first part of the chart, we have now turned the page. I think we're on page 25 now, right?
Yes.
You can see the data here. We're going to start with paper towel since the paper towel was the very first item on our chart. So Ms. Marquardt, if you can take the paper towel and dip it into the water and hold it for 10 seconds, dip as much of that paper towel in as you can till your fingers are wet.
I am going to fold it up here. All right, ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right, and she is going to place that item in the other cup to get it out of the way. Now, where is the line?
Oh my goodness, it went all the way down to 5 ounces.
Oh my gosh, so it absorbed an entire ounce of water.
How did you figure that out?
Well, I started at 6.
Okay.
And I ended up at 5, so I did 6 minus 5. And that told me how much water it absorbed.
So we started at 6 ounces, and we know that we ended up with 5 ounces, so we could just subtract those two numbers to equal 1 ounce.
Yes. So the water absorbed by the paper towel was 1 ounce.
Oh, cool.
What did we observe when you dipped that paper towel into the water?
Well, I noticed that it started to suck up water really quickly. Like the whole paper towel got wet very fast.
Okay. So you can write that down.
Okay.
The paper towel got wet quickly. Awesome.
Okay.
So next, Ms. Marquardt's going to have to pour some water. I poured it back into that thing because, you know, just life.
Yep.
She's going to fill it back up to 6 ounces so that everybody gets an equal playing field. And now we're going to go down to wax paper. She's going to grab that piece of shiny wax paper and dip it in to the water and hold it for 10 seconds, and then we're going to see if it absorbs any water.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
This way. Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7,
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
all right.
Here.
I see water dripping.
Yeah.
So that means it's on. A little bit is on there.
It's dripping. Okay, let's see.
Is there any change in the ounces?
No.
No.
I don't see any
It's
change
still
at
at
all.
6 ounces?
Yeah.
So if it started at 6 and it ended at 6, 6 minus 6 is 0, it absorbed 0 ounces of water. It just kind of, what did you observe? Did it just kind of
water just like
cascade
fell right off of it.
Fell right off of it.
Yeah.
So it was not absorbent at all. It did not absorb any of the water. The water just like, it repelled the water. It'd probably be a good material to use if you were in a rainstorm and you didn't want to get wet.
Good umbrella.
A good umbrella, yeah.
Not a good.
Not cleaning up a wet mess.
Reminds me of the school paper towels.
Yes, exactly. All right, next we have the sponge. So she doesn't even really need to fill anything back up because no water came out. So we're still at 6 ounces. Make sure yours is back up to 6 ounces. She's going to take this sponge and dip it in as much as it will dip in.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Wow.
7,
Look at that.
8, 9, 10.
Oh, I'm excited. Oh my gosh, I can see how much less Miss Marquardt. You can even see on this, there's just like drops left at the bottom. What's left?
Like nothing.
Nothing. It absorbed all of it?
Wow.
Oh
Yes,
my
it did.
gosh.
I can't believe it.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
That was a lot.
Blue crop stick. Okay, so 6 minus, there's nothing left,
Equals.
so it absorbed 6 ounces of water because there's nothing left in that cup but a few drops at the bottom. Wow. So what did you observe?
It took all the water.
It took all the water out of the cup. It sucked it all up inside of itself. That's amazing.
Now, some students at home might have a smaller sponge.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah. If your sponge is not quite as big as ours, which I think yours is about half the size of ours, yours might only absorb like 3 ounces of water or 4 ounces of water. And that's okay if it's slightly different than ours. The point is that you can tell that the sponge absorbed way more water than the wax paper or even the paper towel so far. And that's what we want you to see, that even if your sponge is a different size and it didn't absorb all the water like ours did because it was smaller, it still absorbed a lot more than the other materials, and that's what's important. Okay, last one. Miss Marquardt has filled back up our cup to 6 ounces of water. She's going to take the craft stick, dip it in for 10 seconds, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right. What do you find out?
Oh, you're not going to believe it. I don't see any change at all.
No change?
No.
All right. So 6 minus, we still have 6, is 0 ounces absorbed. It didn't absorb anything, just like the wax paper.
Yep.
So I guess it didn't absorb any water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't absorb.
Did not absorb, didn't absorb.
Which is why we don't use craft sticks to
Clean up
a
spills.
spill.
You never see a commercial of somebody, a guy in a lumberjack outfit coming in to clean up your floors with a craft stick. No, they use
Never.
Bounty liquor picker rubber. All
maybe,
right.
Maybe the craft stick will be better at something in the future.
Something in the future. I think we'll be using it for something else.
Wink,
Yes.
wink.
We're going to take a look at our chart data down here. Make a bar graph to show how much water each material absorbed. Well, this is awesome because we've been learning about bar graphs in math. So
Perfect.
let's take a look at each one of our items. We're going to start with paper towel. And it looks like the paper towel absorbed 1 ounce of water. So Ms. Marquardt is going to draw a bar up to the 1, starting at the paper towel 0. You guys can copy hers. If your numbers are slightly different, use the numbers from yours. If you're copying ours, then just copy ours. Wax paper absorbs 0, so she's not going to do anything to wax paper. Sponge absorbs 6 ounces, so she's going to draw her bar all the way up to the 6. Excellent. And shading that in. And then our craft stick, just like the wax paper, absorbs 0. So there's no bar for the craft paper, or the craft stick or the wax paper. Those are just not absorbent at all. So if we go over to the next page, another way to test the absorbency of materials would be too. So this is just a little challenge we want you guys to think about. I want you to think about another test you could do to figure out if the sponge or the whatever material you have is absorbent. Today we stuck it inside of a bowl of water. Maybe there's something else that you could do. Maybe you put the items out during a rainstorm and see how much water it collects if you squeeze it into a cup afterwards.
Yeah.
I bet you guys could probably come up with something creative as well.
Maybe something in the bathtub?
Maybe something in the bathtub.
I don't know.
There's no wrong answer here.
No.
This is just a challenge to see. If you want to steal mine, that's fine. And now finally, let's go down to reflect. We are going to put the materials in order that we tested in the order of their absorbency, starting with the most absorbent, which is really obvious.
It was the sponge.
The sponge. So we're going to write sponge up here. Make sure you're listening because we're not writing this in. You need to write sponge down for number 1. Number 2, the only other item that absorbed, which was the paper towel.
Yep.
Paper towel for number 2. So 3 and 4 is kind of hard because neither of them were very absorbent. None of them took water out, but from your experience, Miss Marquardt,
Yeah.
looking at the materials when you pulled them out, was one of them maybe dripping more or holding on to a little bit more water than the other?
Yeah,
What would you
so
say?
the wax paper felt almost completely dry when I took it out. The
Okay.
water completely ran off of it, and it's
Okay.
as if it was never in water to begin
Okay.
with. However, the craft stick is still, I have it sitting over here. You can feel it. It's still wet.
Oh, so a little water got into the material, but
Yeah.
not enough to show.
Teeny tiny amount.
So it's not absorbent, but it's definitely more absorbent than a piece of wax paper.
It is, for
So
sure.
we'll say craft stick for number 3 and wax paper for number 4 because that's dry right now.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Is that it? Is there anything on the other side, or
That is it.
that's it? So good job on testing the absorbency of your 4 materials today. Thank you guys for being awesome scientists.